Kendrick Lamar, welcome.
What's going on?
So how are you in life at the moment? Are you happy? Are you good now? The album's out?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good just off the simple fact, get the album out, people enjoy it. Now I can go out and see the people that enjoy it and get back on this road, go to the UK, see these faces again, you know what I mean? That's what makes me happy.
And you haven't been to the UK in a while?
3 years.
I can't believe that. Amazing.
Yeah.
So are you going to come back and tour? Are you going to play some shows?
Definitely.
Thank God. Okay.
No question.
Because I know this is a brief visit.
No question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it cathartic getting an album out? Does it feel like, it's a sigh of relief physically as well?
Definitely. When you locked in the studio 6-7 months to a year with the same people, working, creative juices flowing everywhere, you are the only people that's hearing the music. So you're loving it, you're getting tired of it, you're loving it, you're getting tired of hearing it. So once it's finally out, it's like, it's off our hands.
Yeah.
Now just let the magic work.
To Pimp A Butterfly, it felt to me when it came like a really important album. In that it was one of those albums that I'll never forget hearing it for the first time. Where I was, what I was doing.
Appreciate it.
It felt like one of those ones. And the thing about it, in retrospect, is that it feels like it was a win for music, if you know what I mean. Music won.
Thank you.
Not the industry, the music.
Music, yeah.
Yeah. You seem to be someone who plays by your own rules.
Yeah.
Was it concerted? Was it considered the whole way that you brought that album out, the whole way that you introduced it to the world?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I thought about for a long time before I even got in the studio. What I wanted to do, what I wanted to sound like, what message I wanted to get across into it. A lot of time I spend really just brainstorming the idea before I even start writing. So the whole process of me being on tour, seeing different people, meeting different people, I was actually working, but it was up here. It was in my mind. So by the time I put the pen to the paper, I already knew, how I wanted to present it to the people, and it came off just like that.
And the album is dense with ideas.
Yeah.
There's so many layers. There's so many different journeys you can go down in terms of the way that you listen to it. Reference points, subtleties that you'll find like 8 months later.
Definitely.
Was that important to you to challenge the person who's listening?
Yeah, not only challenge the person that's listening, challenge myself. Challenge myself. What type of longevity I want this album to hold? Your second album is always put in the industry to be your commercial outbreak, your huge commercial outbreak. Making that decision ultimately is a tough choice. You want to be considered for that, or you want to do something that has a staple in the game, not only now but 10 years, 20 years down the line. And figuring that out.
Let's talk about your work ethic, because I feel like it's your mind, as you said. It's not just going into the studio. It's constant. It's constant coming up with ideas. How far ahead do you think? Have you thought about the next album?
I think about that while I'm making the album that I'm making at the point.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think that far ahead?
Yeah.
In terms of how they'll feed into each other?
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I couldn't even sit up here and explain the process, but I think it comes from a point where I know where this is going, and in order to make the next project, it's going to take a whole lot of preparation.
Let's talk about you as a role model. You kind of being a responsible person in terms of someone who a lot of people listen to really carefully and look to for examples. How do you feel about setting an example?
It's just a trip to me. It's definitely a journey, and I think as I grow older and meet different people and go through different things, I'll be more able to accept it, But right now it's new to me. It's so new to me. I only got 2 albums out. My whole life I've been in Compton since my early 20s all the way up to 25. I'm 27 now, so the world only giving me 3 years, It just so happened that throughout the years of my life, I soaked up a lot of game, and I was able to put it in my music.
Was there a point in your life in Compton when you were younger? I read about a thing where you talked about a grandmother in a car park.
Yeah.
Where you can remember making a decision to go down a certain path.
Yeah. My homeboy had just got killed, like right down the block, probably like 10 blocks down, earlier that day. And I remember us just walking to the store. 3 or 4 of my homeboys and a young lady, well, not a young lady, an older woman, she had asked us, are you guys saved? And we didn't really know what she meant, saved, what you mean saved, I've been in a house where my parents been spiritual and things like that, but we never really discussed the act of being saved by what you believe in, by God, your Savior, Jesus Christ. It was like, nah. Well, she's like, you believe in God? We was like, yeah. She's like, okay, well, repeat after me. And at that moment, she said this prayer over us, and she said, if you accept Jesus in your heart right now, then you will enter the kingdom of heaven. And it just tripped me out to know that this lady had that much faith in us, knowing that we are the kids that was a part of what just happened to our homeboy down the block a few hours ago. She still, with no fear, she was still able to come up to us and show us this love. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody else can show us this love, why can't I have that same type of love for myself? So that moment, it let me know, like, man, I gotta do something else. or else I'm gonna be the homie down the block. How
important is it to you to be able to fly the flag for Compton?
Oh man,
and show it in a light that isn't necessarily negative. And
yeah, it's a little twist to it. It's a twist to it. It feels good. It definitely feels good, because when I go back in my city, certain neighborhoods that I might have not gotten along with, or guys I may have not gotten along with through a long period of violence and gang beef, even they salute what I'm doing now. And that's like the ultimate greatest feeling, to know I can walk these blocks and get that respect on a level where, okay, for a moment, let's forget about what we done to each other and what we done to our neighborhoods, and let's look at these little kids out here, your little son that you probably don't get to see often because you back and forth in jail. Let's look at the example that I'm giving to him just by being from this block, being from this city, and him watching me on TV and being able to touch me, So that's like the ultimate feeling for me.
Now let's talk about the album again, and in terms of the musicality, because that, it just blows my mind.
Appreciate it.
The music on that album, the references, the homages. I've never heard anyone just rap over jazz before. Like simple stuff like that. It's like when I was listening, I was like, I've never heard this before. This is completely new to me, but it's so familiar as well.
Appreciate it.
Tell me about the team of people around you, and how you work together with that.
Oh man, I was literally locked in the studio with the same people for about a year and a half.
You know them better than family.
Yeah.
Their eating habits.
Their eating habits, how they smell when they wake up.
Would you come in then and you'd get played stuff and you'd say, yeah, well, let's have more of that or less of that, or let's do that again, or,
Yeah, it's usually with us starting all at the same time.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is a trip. Sometimes, some of the musicians will have references, but majority it was just us starting from scratch.
Yeah.
I pop in John Coltrane and we'd listen, we'd vibe out for one whole day.
Yeah.
And come in the studio with that same energy the next day.
Yeah.
And make a jazz record. Simple as that.
Wow.
Yep, so them sessions were critiqued by a lot of vibe sessions first. Then the opposite day, the next day, we record.
So a vibe session being just go in and play.
Just go in and play. Catch a vibe, listen to music, whether it's gangster rap, whether it's George Clinton, we just sit in the studio like this and talk about what we like, the memories we had from it, and how we can take it to the next level, 2015.